Waters Council, I hereby declare this National Court of Honor open for the purpose of bestowing the rank of Eagle Scout upon Corey Ostensen and Patrick Zapf of Troop 23, chartered in 1955 to the First Presbyterian Church of Wheaton, Illinois. Corey and Patrick join over 200 young men who earned the rank of Eagle while in Troop 23. My name is Kyle Allred, committee member of Troop 23. It is my honor and privilege to serve as the chairman of this National Court of Honor. Annually, the National Council of the Boy Scouts of America recognizes hundreds of young adults who have successfully fulfilled the rank requirements for Eagle Scout. It is the only rank in scouting that requires troop, local council, and national council review. Nationally, only 2 to 4% of boys who join scouting achieve the rank of Eagle. Now we'll have the color guard.
Can all rise? Color guard attention. All attention. Color guard forward march. All salute. Color guard halt. Please prepare to close the colors. Please I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard post colors. Color guard turn right. About this. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. All of these color guard color guard races.
Thank you, Ryan. And now I call Henry Allred to deliver an invocation to remind us of the Scout duty to God as we open the Court of Honor. Henry?
Let's pray. Lord, you forged the hills and mountains these two young men have hiked and climbed. From you flow the rivers these young men have paddled. Your hands form the lakes and oceans these two have gone swimming. You know each animal and plant they have washed with wonder. You protected these men from the elements, provided food to cook and eat, and empowered the fires that warm them. You are the one who sharpens their minds every day to learn skills and facts, knocks and first aid, how to lead and how to follow. It is you, who through your Son Jesus, give us the ultimate example of servanthood and sacrifice. Lead us with your light. Amen.
Thank you, Henry. Now I'd like to introduce Mark Dubner, Troop 23 Eagle Scout, to share the stage of scouting, which explains the ranks and journey each scout makes on the trail to Eagle. Jack Barbieri, would you also please come up to light the candle designated each rank, please?
I am the voice of the eagle. I speak for the eagles whose summit you have reached. You struggled so hard to reach. We remember well when you first came to the base of our mountain, how you looked up with ambition and determination. master the skills of scouting. You continued your climb, and soon came another ledge, the place where first-class scouts dwell. There you found a green-flowered meadow, close by a crystal-clear stream, sparkling in sunshine. Many other scouts rested beside the murmuring waters. You were tempted to remain, but your ambition spurred you, and you continued your journey upwards. You faced more choices at the stage: which merit badges to earn, what troop office to hold, where to provide hours of service. With hard work and persistence, you made the decision and completed the requirement to earn the rank of Star Scout. We next remember your progress when you turned the trail to become a Star Scout. You found the trail from first class had been an illusion, but not so difficult as it had first seemed. This inspired you to push onward, to climb higher, and again you left many of your fellow scouts, that you still might climb still further. But now the trail was steeper and less traveled. Fewer scouts seemed headed in your direction. You looked back and saw crowds below you. You looked up and saw very few above. Yet with the same determination as you started your climb, now enhanced by experience and firm resolve, you continued to push up the trail. Soon you turned another corner on the trail, and the heart-shaped badge of the Life Scout was placed on your uniform. You will always recall the thoughts in your heart at this moment. It has been an experience by all scouts reaching the ledge of life. Now I am closer to the eagle. I will carry on. But the trail now grows tougher and fainter. Many seem to falter along the way. The original simple principles of the Scout Oath and Law take on a fuller meaning as your understanding grows greater. We, the Eagles, have watched your character develop and unfold. We have watched your leadership ability expand into a valuable asset. We have watched your mind develop and your wisdom increase. Yes, we have watched all these things in you. And now that you are standing in the summit of the trail, in the glory of the sunshine and the wind and clouds at the threshold of your goal, we, your fellow Eagles, applaud you and welcome you, for you have done your climbing in a true Scout-like manner.
Thank you, Mark and Jack. And now for the presentation of the candidates. I now call upon the Eagle Honor Guard to present our Eagle Scout candidates. Please escort Corey and Patrick to the front of the room. And now for the Eagle Charge. The Eagle Court of Honor not only recognizes what a Scout has accomplished, but also is an opportunity to remind him of his future responsibilities as an Eagle Scout. Every Eagle Court calls for an Eagle Charge. The Scout chooses whom he would like to present the charge. The purpose of the charge is to challenge the Scout on his next steps. Give him thoughts for consideration as he accepts this award, to look back upon his scouting career and to look forward to what is on the horizon. Corey has asked that Michael Halter, Eagle Scout of Troop 23, deliver his Eagle Charge. Corey will speak following Michael.
Hey guys, good afternoon. I've known Corey for a long time now. I've worked with Eric and Deb for some time now in scouting and consider them my friends. Our families have spent a lot of time together making eggs in bags, sleeping overnights in museums. My wife Anne-Marie actually slept in Eagle Cave with my son Jacob and Eric and Corey. Let me tell you, a lot of fun for Ann, that's for sure. And tons of camp outs spent with Eric and Corey and the troop at CFL, shooting sports, and always such great adventures, which that was always the one thing that I always enjoyed most about scouting. Corey spent a lot of time with my two sons as well. And outside of scouting, Corey and my son Jacob spent time in Europe and also participated in the Model UN team at Wheaton North. Corey, I'm honored that you asked me to give your Eagle charge in recognition to your elevation of the highest rank in scouting. As an Eagle Scout myself, as well as the father of 2 Eagle Scouts, I understand the personal effort and determination required to reach the place you find yourself in. Your position, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. As we can see from the awards and honors you've collected, you have achieved a high standard of achievement in scouting. But your scouting career is far more than your badges, your rank, and this ceremony. Your scouting career has been a roller coaster of wet boots, long nights, and chicken a little too pink. I've had the pleasure of watching your scouting journey unfold, so I thought I would take some time today to reflect on that journey. As a lot has changed since the beginning, for starters, back then, you had to look up to me, and now I have to look up to you. From lock-ins with Pack 63 at Gary Wheaton to Pinewood Derbies, I got to know the boy who would one day become a great young man and Eagle Scout. I remember the year you won the Pinewood Derby, mostly because I remember weighing all those cars for hours. For those who don't know, the Pinewood Derby must be a regulation weight so that there's not an advantage for other cars. You would think because the first point of the Scout law is trustworthy, we could just go with the honor code, but you'd be wrong. As I weighed your car that you and your dad built together, I could see the excitement in your face and knew you were in for a fun Pinewood Derby. Little did we know you'd come in first place that year. Take it from me, as a dad, you do everything to make those cars go a bit faster, but we can't forget that it's our kids who compete, not us. However, what I think most notable from that year wasn't how fast your car went, or even frankly, what it looked like. I remember when you won, you didn't gloat. You weren't prideful. You were a humble winner. While humility may not be a point in the Scout law, it's certainly a prime characteristic of an Eagle Scout. Your humility is what elevates you from a regular Scout to an Eagle Scout. While in scouting, we often glorify hard work and service, let's not forget that the point of the Eagle Scout project is to set others up for success. You led a service event in which you invited others to get involved. You often lose sight of the greater good, trying to pursue glory for ourselves. As a leader, you had to be the one of the hardest things you can, step away. Becoming an Eagle Scout is an immense demonstration of humility. A good leader may accomplish much, but a great leader accomplishments speak for themselves. Corey, your accomplishments speak loudly. I believe we are similar in many ways. Something you once mentioned to me was your fondness for canoeing and kayaking as a passion I also share. But if you've ever been in a canoe before, you know it's not a solo experience. No matter how hard we try, yelling at the other person in the canoe never seems to make it go any faster. Canoeing, I believe, is the ultimate test of cooperation and leadership. It demands you to help another person succeed and to trust that person to do what they need to do. Maybe it was the canoeing, or maybe it was the years of experience, but I've watched as you have become a great leader in both the troop and the community. At the most basic level, you take the skills that you have acquired and teach them to the younger scouts. Even years ago in meetings, I could seldom find Corey sitting idly by. Instead, he was always up. I could seldom find Corey guiding his fellow scouts in the right direction, making sure they wouldn't return home on Monday nights with nothing completed from their scout handbooks. A good leader can leave a massive hole when they leave an organization, but a great leader can ensure that things will continue to function long after they are gone. Your leadership has spread far beyond scouting, and you certainly have become a fine mentor. Corey, continue to leave your fingerprints on all the projects, groups, and people you work with. Strive to be a lifelong learner and teacher of skills. After all, scouting is boy-led, and you have become a man. It's time to let the boys lead. You certainly have become a skilled scout. Personally, I used to look forward to administering the skills review, a true test of your scouting ability that were required to advance to various ranks within scouting. I remember administering your skills review prior to you advancing to your rank of Life Scout. I found that you were an excellent test taker and you prepared for the review, as you were able to remember all the most important skills related to scouting. I'm sure by now you're fed up with standardized tests like the ACT and the SAT, AP exams, quizzes in schools. The unfortunate truth is that you'll never stop being tested as an Eagle Scout. But the skills on which you will be tested in the future cannot be found in the pages of your Scout handbook, nor can they be found in the badges on your chest. You will be tested on the contents of your character, your duties to others, and your leadership. Eagle Scouts like yourself are equipped to succeed in today's environment because you possess the necessary skills to keep our community, our nation, and our world moving forward. As my wife, sons, and maybe a few of you people in this room can attest, I always say there are two types of people, the 8 out of 10 and the 2 out of 10. 8 out of 10 people, whether they're Scouts, Harvard graduates, or Menards employees, just show up with no initiative, no drive, and no motivation. 2 out of 10 people will make an impact, whether in the lives of others, in the workplace, or other organizations. It doesn't matter what your skill set is, how educated you are, how well traveled you are, or even whether you know the difference between a bowline or a taunt hitch. What matters is your initiative, your drive, and your pursuit of excellence. Those skills, those are lifelong skills, such as cooking, first aid, my favorite, personal management, and fire building, are ones that you will use long after you leave scouting, long after you graduate, and long after you begin your career. A good leader can be an 8 out of 10, but a great leader will always be a 2 out of 10. Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." Corey, I am confident that you will change the world. I've enjoyed watching your scouting journey unfold, and it comes to its climax. I'm happy to be here today. I hope that this isn't the end of your scouting journey, that you may return, possibly with your kids, or when you feel a desire to aid the younger generation. But even if you never attend another campout, meeting, or court of honor, I hope you take what you have learned in scouting with you. So I charge you to stay humble in all that you do. I charge you to lead by example and teach all you know. I charge you to take the skills you have learned and use them to benefit society. I charge you to be the 2 out of 10, to be the change you want to see in the world. I charge you to maintain the principles of an Eagle Scout for the rest of your life. On behalf of this Court of Honor of Three Fires Council, the Boy Scouts of America, with the high hope that you will always represent the finest of character and citizenship, I welcome you into the Brotherhood of Eagle Scouts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Halter, and thank all of you for being here today for me. I really appreciate everyone for supporting me both today and throughout my entire time in Scouting. Scouting truly is a unique experience. I've listened to countless speeches where Eagle Scouts will acknowledge how Scouting afforded them experiences that they would not be able to find anywhere else. And it's definitely true that I've seen things and had opportunities that most people my age will never get to experience. However, I don't think that the real value of Scouting is in first aid or knots or outdoor skills. The real value of Scouting for me was in the relationships that I got to build along the way. There were some rough moments during my Scouting career, as I'm sure there were in all of yours. And Scouting does teach a lot about perseverance and hard work for sure. But something that I learned really fast is that none of the hard parts of Scouting are tackled alone. Scouting allowed me to have these difficult experiences and to take initiative, but also to have a built-in support network behind me the whole time. I've met all sorts of people in Scouting and made great friends, and some of them I've known for a very long time, like the one and only Patrick Zapf beside me here today. I've known Patrick since preschool, and it's been really cool to grow up together through Scouting. I've watched him come a long way from putting lemonade in a super soaker after a parade circa 2015. Patrick, I really admire how much care you have for people. You always want the best for everyone, and you'll do your best to help them. Thank you so much for being in this with me from the beginning, and I'm really grateful that I've gotten to know you all of these years. That help that Patrick gives people is a valuable thing in Scouting, and no one better served that role for me than Alex Jeffrey. He was my assistant patrol leader when I was patrol leader, and one summer, when I was patrol leader at camp, the patrol, as per usual for that summer, was a little bit behind schedule. And I was a little bit stressed to try to bring us back on track. And in cooking dinner, the now infamous Swiss chicken that some of you may be familiar with, some onions needed to get cut. And I trust Alex. He's a responsible guy. He's my assistant patrol leader. I just believe that he could cut those onions how they need to be cut. However, something that's super important to keep in mind about Alex is that he's going to be allergic to all fruits and vegetables. And you guessed it, that includes onions. Something else really cool about Alex is that his legs were already covered in hives from running through tall grass earlier that day. He's allergic to grass, as well as feeling generally pretty ill from dehydration. Needless to say, Mr. Bussey and I soon found ourselves in the camp medical cabin monitoring his heart rate. Sorry about that, Alex. In all seriousness, our friendship in Scouting has meant the world to me, and thank you for all of it. Not only was Alex willing to help me in any way he could, no matter what it cost him, he was also always fun to be around. That to say, friendships in Scouting are super important. Many of my fondest memories of camping were when the weather was horrible, but I got the most out of it when I liked the people that I was around. A muddy hike is what you make of it, and you can get so much more out of it with people who want to be there and people who want to have fun. And these are the people that I want to focus building relationships with. Troop 23, in addition to so many great scouts that I got to meet, also has so many spectacular adult leaders, and I feel blessed to have gotten to know many of them in my time in Scouting. To all the leaders, it's truly amazing that you give of your time in order to afford us this experience. It means the world to me, and I've truly been shaped by all of your efforts. In terms of adult leaders, I would like to give a special thank you to Mr. Halter for delivering my Eagle Charge today. As he touched on, Mr. Halter has seen me through every stage of my Scouting career, and I'm so glad that he could be here at the pinnacle of my Scouting achievements. I went through Cub Scouts and then Boy Scouts with his sons, and Mr. Halter has had a really big bearing on the character of my Scouting career. From my first Memorial Day parade to helping me replace the batteries in my headlamp on my second camp out alone to here today, I have only fond memories and good things to say about Mr. Halter. As he touched on, I did both my first class and my Life Scout skills reviews with him over the course of many hours. And at the time, I would joke about the length of those sessions because it was many hours. He was so thorough that I can easily stand here today and say that I learned more of those core Scout skills during those sessions with him than I did in the entire first 4 ranks combined, enabling me to be able to go on and teach those skills to many Scouts for years to come, which I view as a really important part of my Scouting experience. He's always gone the extra mile with me, and I really appreciate that. Not only did he graciously agree to give my Eagle Scout charge today, he also did it after flying back from Maryland earlier this morning. Mr. Halter, it means a lot to me to have you here today, and thank you for having such a special part in this ceremony. One of the other greatest relationships that I built with adult leaders is Mrs. Zapf. Not only has she had a massive impact on the troop in her role as committee chair for a while, she's also played a big part in my Scouting journey. From leading all sorts of crazy activities as one of my Cub Scout den leaders, to making slides at summer camp, she's always prepared with anything you could ever need. My dad will poke fun at her for her love of patches and bins and wagons and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's true that she loves stuff. No one embodies that motto of be prepared better than Mrs. Zapf. She'll always be sure that she has all the best for Patrick and I. She was once prepared with so much stuff for her and Patrick that I was somewhat trapped in their car on the way up to summer camp, between a duffel bag and a cooler in the back seat. And I was having a great time with the Zapfs on the way up to camp, until the troop made its annual stop at Walmart to get any last-minute supplies. As Mrs. Zapf came to park, there was just a little bit of a problem. She didn't really put the car in park so much as she put it in neutral. And she didn't quite park on a flat area of the parking lot so much as sloped. So she and Patrick got out of the car talking about what they needed to pick up from Walmart, a tarp, some paracord, but I, trapped in the back seat of the Zapf-mobile, began to roll backwards across the Walmart parking lot. She caught up with the car after just a few steps, but it's definitely a memorable and scary moment with the Zapfs that I will not forget anytime soon. Later that summer camp, I was having a bit of a hard time as a first-time patrol leader at camp. Mrs. Zapf was one of the adults eating dinner with us, and she noticed that I wasn't really having the easiest time. So she and a couple other adults that she roped in made sure to help me with whatever I needed through the rest of the week and check up on me on whatever I needed. And though she almost killed me in the Walmart parking lot, she definitely saved my life a few days later. So a big thank you, Mrs. Zapf, for everything you've done along my whole Scouting journey. Scouting has allowed me to meet so many amazing people, and I truly value all of the experiences and friendships that this program has given me on my way to Eagle. I can't wait to continue to build relationships with you all at summer camp this year, and I wish I could thank all of you individually for the impacts that you've had on me through Scouting. But most of all in this speech, I would like to say thank you to my parents. You guys have given so much time and effort to support me through all of Scouting, and you cannot imagine how grateful I am to you for facilitating all of this great experience. All the lessons I learned and friends I made were because of you guys. For everyone here today, thank you so much for coming to support Patrick and I. It means a lot, and I'm grateful to have built relationships with you through Scouting. Thank you.
Great stories. So now for the introduction of parents. When looking at an Eagle Scout, you're looking at someone whose parents value the Scouting program. Parents play a big part in the achievement of a child. They provide the structure, support, encouragement, discipline, and role modeling so crucial to the development of a young man. And in Scouting context, the Scout's journey was made easier by the parents, although the Eagle may not have always agreed with them 100% of the time. Through a host of tasks, from driving the Scouts to his first Cub Scout meeting, to buying the uniform, sewing on the badges, helping deliver Christmas wreaths and popcorn, grinning when finding pine needles in your car in July, attending campouts and meetings, and contributing to the many facets of running the troop, the parents are enablers in the best possible way. One of the several differences of the rank of Eagle is that the recognition extends beyond the Scout to his parents, so we will ask them to participate in the award of the Eagle. Will the Eagle Honor Guard please escort Mr. and Mrs. Ostensen to the front to join Corey so they may assist with the preparation of the Eagle rank. And I will also call upon longtime Troop 23 Scoutmaster Jeff Jeffers for the awarding of the Eagle badge.
Corey, if you join us here, center stage. You know, one of the things that I've noticed over my scouting career, and I think most of the adult leaders would agree with, I've stopped predicting when a scout joins a scout troop whether or not he's going to be standing here at some point. I found I was wrong a good percentage of the time. You know, and it was no different when Corey joined in 2018, but it wasn't long after he joined in 2018 that I figured that he was going to be standing here because of the support that he had from his family and the type of young man he turned out to be. It did not take long at all for us to determine that. So it is my pleasure to ask his mother, because I don't think I'm tall enough, to pin this on his weapon. Before we go any further, I think a round of applause is in order. This is a pin for Eric. I've been on many long, hot, wet, cold, human campouts with him. This is a thank you from Corey to his dad for all the hard work and sleepless nights.
And now can I please introduce Mr. Rick Bussey to do the presentation of the Eagle Badge and the neckerchief.
Well, good thing you're here, Eric. You want to take your neckerchief? Corey, I do remember when you were much shorter. Corey, this one's for you. This is a mentor pin. This is something that you can give to anyone that you felt's been a mentor to you throughout your year scouting. You can give it to them at any time. Think about it. Okay? Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rick. We appreciate it. Another round of applause.
And now for Patrick's Eagle Charge. Patrick has asked Mr. Eric Ostensen, longtime Troop 23 leader, to deliver the charge of Eagle. Patrick will speak following Mr. Ostensen.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. I don't know if I'll be able to give a speech as good as my son did. Great speech, Corey. I want to welcome you all to this Court of Honor. It's truly an honor for me to speak on Patrick's behalf. Why is because of Mark and Judith, our relationship with them and Patrick, your family. You were scout parents together, friends, sometimes confidants or challenges, and certainly a sounding board for my 11 years supporting Corey and 10 years as a leader. During our scouting career, we started out in Cub Scout Pack 63, as we were talking before, and Dave Mann helped lead that troop. We had Cub Scout 335 and Jim Fiorata. I thought I saw him here today. We want to make sure and thank you very much for welcoming us into 335. And then Troop 23 leader with Jeffers, who was, there you are. Rick Bussey, very graciously leading as well, and then now Steve Yates. So scouting is about leadership, Patrick, and the leaders, whether it's the boys or the adults, truly is what distinguishes the difference. I see Luke Jones here, and he would talk occasionally at meetings how Troop 23 really did excel at standing up our programs. So leadership's important, and you represent that leadership. For me, my time, it was truly rewarding and adventurous time in scouting. Below zero campouts, hundreds of meetings, volunteer opportunities. One of my favorites was the pancake breakfast or the ceremonies, laying wreaths at the cemetery. Volunteer opportunities galore, the parade. Boards of review, trying to overcome the challenges of COVID, and all the necessities of a good, strong bourbon after most of my scouting events. If you haven't guessed already, Patrick, I'm not going to do a big formal presentation. That's not me. It's like my cooking on campouts. I never follow the recipe, and I don't follow those rules too much. But So it's interesting that I had a scout that did follow most of the rules. So what am I going to talk about? I asked that question. I've been up here a couple times for different scouts, and should I talk about some crazy stories? Maybe of Patrick being buried up to his neck in the sand at a summer camp cooking explosion, or how wonderful the dessert of 111 is, and what the consequences the boys are after they eat that mess. Patrick, I asked him if he had any favorite stories, and he shared a few with me. Maybe some of my favorites I'd speak about, or maybe a formal charge. The council would be happy if I did a formal charge. So, I decided I wasn't going to do any of those. So, I want to talk about a story that happened with me that helps relate what I think scouting is and what Corey was talking about a little bit in his speech. Before I do that, though, briefly, I want to talk about some of the responsibilities of an Eagle Scout in the charge. I decided to think through what charges or what things do we really need to talk about for an Eagle Scout, Patrick, and honor was one of them. Living up to the values of home, church, and community. Certainly a very, very important point. Loyalty was another one. Loyalty to your family, friends, and country. Those ideals of an Eagle Scout. Courage. Facing adversary and displaying grit. Any adult or anyone who's gone through some challenges, how you react to adversity and the grit that you display, those are certainly traits of an Eagle Scout. Service to the community, helping others that are less fortunate, and also citizenship are also, these 5 are the most important things that I believe in learning to help others, maybe seniors, handicapped, and I've seen you do all of those. I did want to add some of my own spice to this little recipe, and part of it was for our scouting days of be cheerful, always an important one, be prepared, and my personal favorite that you heard many times is have fun on those wonderful warm, hot, or cold campouts. So I alluded to a brief story, one of the ones that will help explain what I think, or help really signify what scouting is all about, is a campout that Mike Halter helped arrange. It was a Eagle Cave and canoeing campout. It was delayed about 18 months, and I see a couple of you are already laughing because this one was a mess with COVID. But Halter, ever the detail, we had updates on the money spent, the chicken we were gonna have, the sleeping. It was a great, meticulously planned campout. But right before we were ready to go in, the last fallout, there was rumblings. A leader really had some reservations about what we were gonna do. We were gonna have 40-some scouts on the water. There was talk of it being unsafe, our plan. There was talk of our plan being incomplete, dangerous even, highly likely to lose scouts. What? This doesn't happen. None of that happens. But this discourse was politely handled. Again, tactfully talked about our plan, and 2 adult boats were volunteered to be the saviors of these kids on the open water when the inevitable dunking, splashing, and fighting happens on the campouts. We went on our canoe, and as luck would have it, or as you would expect, there's a scout in trouble. A scout flipped over, stuff is wet. One of the boats, I think it was Sean and Doug Cacklemus, went zooming over there, perpendicular to the current, and anyone who knows what happens next is they were over. So now adults were over, wet, gear, lunches, wet. Halter and I went sprinting over to help the other adult boat. Remember, we were here for the scouts, and we hit the same darn rock that they did. 4 adults in the water, no lunches, cell phones, whatever. At that time, we learned that the scouts all behaved themselves, splashed in the water, fought, maybe brought up a tire or two in the conservation thing. The only people who were hurt that day were the leaders, and it was their pride. The moral of the story, Patrick, well, you're asking yourself, get to the point, Mr. Ostensen. Scouting is best done when it's done outdoors, whether it was standing up meetings during COVID, the many campouts that I've been on, the 10 plus years of being with you and seeing your scouting career. Scouting is best when it's done outdoors. Scouting is best when the kids really make all the rules and the plans. Scouting is about the illusion of danger where the parents are really in the background and the leaders are in the background. I even wrote down here, it's best when they're in the way back, not just the background. Scouts need adults to lean in and to set expectations. My charge to you, Patrick, is to lean in as you are an adult. Scouting is a great organization, and it needs you. It needs adult leaders to give, to get. That's what I'm telling you today. In closing, I was a leader for 10 plus years with scouting, probably 75 plus nights camping in my giving instructions to the boys were as such. I had a simple phrase, many of you might know it. Scouts, have fun, be safe, and don't die, because your mother will kill me. Patrick, that is my charge to you today. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. First off, thank you, Mr. Ostensen, for the fantastic Eagle charge. Now, please raise your hand if you even believed in me getting here at all. All right, well, for those of you who raise your hands, put them down. There's no way that is true. I did not even believe I would get up here today to even deliver this speech. It is just truly a blessing to be here. But now that I am here, I would like to thank some people for this outstanding achievement. Firstly, I would like to thank my #1 supporter since the beginning of my scouting journey and my whole life, my mom. Mom, I would be dead if you were not here at all, any day. And second, I would like to thank my dad. Thank you for inspiring and nurturing the creative side of my life, and also wanting me and instilling in me the determination to finish what I've started my entire life. I also want to thank Corey. You are literally my day one of ever, probably. Ever since we were playing with our Clone Wars tech decks at Jefferson, to chatting about Rise of Skywalker during the lock-in. And I remember us saying, I think it was a genuinely bad movie. It was not good. And we were young at the time, and we'd never seen a flop that bad. But it happened. And then to texting about Star Wars news, to working on each other's Eagle Scout projects, and being together today. I also want to thank everybody in the Troop 23 community for creating this fantastic program and bringing together all these extraordinary people. Now I will regale some highlights of my scouting career. Go. So raise your hand if any of you guys have cooked for yourself ever, at all. Okay. Now keep your hand up if you have cooked in a group. Okay. Now keep your hand up if you've cooked with a group and outside. All right, now I would like to give you all a round of applause. You guys are all troopers. You guys are all warriors out there. Oh my goodness. So, I mentioned this because I was dedicated to being the best patrol leader I could during summer camp one year. That whole week, I never spent time working on merit badges, swimming at the lakefront, or doing anything else to further my scout career besides from being the best patrol leader I possibly could. Instead, I sat outside and planned how to cook dinners with my group. So, famously, it was steak night. And part of steak night was cooking a potato side dish. So me and the Thunderbirds came up with potato chips. So we took our big red pasta pot dish from the Thunderbirds patrol box, which is just where we keep all of our cooking supplies, and put an entire bottle of oil in it and began to heat it up. Now, I thankfully delegated Enzo to cooking the steaks, who is sadly not here, but they were very good, outstanding steaks. But I was very focused on the potato chips, and we were running very low on time, so after we cut them up, I threw a potato chip in there, and probably around the 400-degree oil, and just steam emerged from the pot. And it was like I literally could not see the chip in there at all. And so I thought of probably I thought of a very good idea. And at least what I thought was good. And so I grabbed the water jug, and I walked toward the pot of oil. And honestly, if I hadn't been stressed all day or trying to be the best leader, I probably would have just waited for the steam to clear. But instead, I poured a lot of the water jug into the vat of oil. And all I remember after that were my eyes going black, and I could not see literally anything. I was just stunned. And when I was able to see, I just see Jack Dunbar running with a pot lid, and in the corner of my eye was a just massive red and orange and yellow flash of flames. And allegedly, there was a 20-foot column of flame. After that, I was shaking, pale, and barely able to speak. And after that, I thought, all right, what else do we need to do? After that, we were all good. We just keep on moving, let's go. But thankfully, I was taken aside to sit down for a second, and a special shout out to Mr. Knight for calming me down for that situation. I don't know if he's here. But either way, I use your advice to this day of thinking of a happy place. But the moral of the story, besides from don't do that, I would say is to just focus on one thing. You can't just focus on one thing in scouting or in life in general. And honestly, I don't think we even won honor patrol that week. Probably because I didn't get anything done to earn more points for my patrol. But anyway, I did get thrifty, though, that year. So I still don't really know why, but I mean, they probably just, I don't even know. But either way, though I learned that focusing on one thing isn't the best approach, focusing on the bigger picture is still powerful. And overall, my whole senior year, the motto in my mind has just been more. I've tacked on cross-country and track to my schedule to accompany flight, and I have cherished the opportunity to participate in these groups. I love coming in and out every day, pushing myself to get more and more out of me every single day. I've also been able to make more changes, like being more present and balancing my efforts during these activities. I decided to start running after Philmont, which is a 12-day hiking trek in which our group summited 3 mountains, and what was supposedly going to be 80 miles was 160. So I honestly don't know who screwed up that one, but yeah. But after that, I believed in myself, and I knew I could do anything, and I just get better with every run. And with this talk, I hope to inspire everyone here to get more out of themselves, because I have learned that you always have more to give in a lot of other areas of your life, and not just one. Oh, sorry. I have come far in my scouting career. I've had to wear gloves on my feet in freezing weather because I thought Mr. Jeffers was kidding about packing a second pair of shoes. On that thought, an enormous shout out to Mr. Olsen for allowing me to wear his socks so my feet didn't fall off during St. Patrick's Day weekend. Huge gift, huge gift. In January, I slept overnight in the frost lands of Cantigny before the Klondike Derby. I even sat through endless leadership meetings when we discussed adding campouts that were not the lock-in. But out of that, I learned to love camping, form long-lasting relationships, help hundreds of children at my elementary school with my Eagle Scout project, and learn that leading a team isn't just about demanding things from people, but about bringing the best out of a community. I will carry that lesson and countless others I learned in scouting as a member of Troop 23 with me I will carry that lesson and the countless others I learned as a member of Troop 23 with me into the future and in all that I do. Thank you so much, and good afternoon to you all.
All right. Will the Honor Guard, Eagle Honor Guard, please escort Mr. and Mrs. Zapf to the front of the room to join Patrick so they may assist in the presentation of the Eagle rank. Also call up Mr. Jeff Jeffers again for the presentation, and Rick as well, please. Thank you.
I think a common theme I hear all the time is, boy, thank goodness for my parents. One of our leaders did a study a couple of years ago about the number of scouts that stand up here that get one of those. And if your parents were involved in the program, it was about a 50% increase in your chances of getting it. Because that was something that the parents were involved in. I would say, right now, our sons are chasing us for a little bit of our time, and pretty soon, we're going to be chasing them for their time. Scouting's a great spot for that, and the Zapfs have been extremely active in the troop, just like the Ostensens. And that's one of the reasons we're standing here today. So, if you would present this to your son. This should be gold-plated. Patrick, you want to present this to your mom? And a platinum-plated one for your dad. Please join me in a round of applause to
Will all Eagle Scouts please rise and join our latest Eagles in the reciting of the Eagle Scout Oath. Mr. Jeffers will lead in stating the oath. All Eagles please stand.
Gentlemen, if you stand. Eagle Scouts, we do better. Why don't you all come on up here? I just wanted to see a collection of Eagle Scouts from all decades. And I'd like all of them to join our two newest Eagle Scouts by making the Scout sign and following along with the rededication to the Eagle Oath. Scout sign, gentlemen. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
the obligations of the rank of Eagle Scout.
the obligations of the rank of Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training an example,
to make my training an example,
my rank and my influence
my rank and my influence
count strongly for better citizenship
count strongly for better citizenship
in my troop,
in my troop,
in my congregation,
in my congregation,
in my community,
in my community,
and in my contacts with other people.
and in my contacts with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred word of honor.
To this, I pledge my sacred word of honor.
2, please congratulate our newest Eagle Scouts on your way to your seats, gentlemen.
The leadership of the troop consists of the older scouts teaching the younger scouts. Behind the patrol leaders and senior patrol leaders are a group of volunteers that have contributed significant amounts of their time and energy, money, and efforts to help coach this troop and keep it steering in the right path. The troop committee would like to make a presentation to Corey and Patrick, and they have asked me to make this presentation. We have some congratulatory letters, and the troop has compiled a book of various congratulatory letters, several dozen from organizations and politicians. And we have, for each, we have the Eagle certificate and the merit badges that they have earned, have made it into a plaque. Sorry.
So now for the presentation of the flags. Now it is time for the Eagles to start giving back. Since 1980, Eagle Scouts have been offered an opportunity to present a historic flag to the troop. The flags you see around us respective represent many of the Eagles from Troop 23 who have come before. This is strictly voluntary. It is also becoming increasingly difficult as the troops inventory has grown. Corey and Patrick have decided to donate a flag to the troop. So Corey, I'll turn the lectern over to you to present the flag and help us understand your choice.
Other way. This is the UNESCO flag. So this is the United Nations Educational, Social, and Cultural Organization. They're one of the main branches of the United Nations, and they focus on the preservation of culture and educational initiatives around the world. So they're most famous for things like UNESCO World Heritage Sites that you guys may have heard about. We have a couple in Illinois. And then they also work to further education in the developing world and things like that. Preservation of language, preservation and culture, and that. And I think that this is a really important movement. I am the president of the Mata UN delegation at Wheaton North. So I know a bit about the topic, and this is the flag that I wanted to donate to the troop. So thank you.
Thanks, Corey. That's really neat. And now, Patrick, if you want to come up and share your choice of flag and the story behind it.
It should be on the screen, but so I'm donating the U.S. Army 102nd Infantry Division flag. This flag, or this group basically, my grandfather was involved in this group during World War II, and I just wanted to honor his memory by donating this flag to the troop. So, yeah.
Now I'd like to call up some special guests we have with us today from some of the armed services to make a small presentation.
Good afternoon. My name's Don Kenyon. I am the chaplain and the Eagle Scout coordinator for the DuPage County Marines, which is part of the armed services. With me today is Victoria Cobbett, who is our detachment paymaster and is the junior vice commandant for the state of Illinois. It is a pleasure to be at the Court of Honors for Troop 23. I've attended over 100 courts of honor in the last 3 years. And being here and with this troop is by far the highlight. There's no other troop that I have attended that dresses in full uniform. And the tradition of presenting flags from the Eagle Scouts is something that has to be looked upon in much, much favor. So you should be proud of this troop and proud of the leadership. The DuPage County Marines is part of the Marine Corps League. The Marine Corps is going to be celebrating its 250th birthday on November 10th, 2025. The Marine Corps League was founded by General John Lejeune, who Camp Lejeune was named after, back in 1935. And the job of the Marine Corps League is to promote the traditions and history of the Marine Corps and to help the fellowship and veterans of the community. And part of the program is recognition of the young men and women who attain the rank of Eagle Scouts. Eagle Scouts and Marines have several traits in common. First of all, if I asked, will all the Marines please stand? Please stand. Semper Fi, and now you know why we're known as the few and the proud. Eagle Scouts, too, are the few and the proud, because only about 4% of our youth entering scouting today reaches the rank of Eagle Scout. So they, too, are the few and the proud. And the Marine Corps motto of Semper Fidelis, always faithful. An Eagle Scout is always faithful to God, his country, and his troop, and his family. And finally, the saying, once a Marine, always a Marine. Once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout. So today, I am happy to present to Corey and to Patrick the Marine Corps League Good Citizenship Award in recognition of their accomplishment and the attainment of the rank of Eagle Scout. So if you two would come forward, I'd be happy to make this presentation. Corey, Patrick, congratulations. Stay right here. We have something else for you.
I'm not that tall. Can I say it was really a pleasure to see all you previous Eagle Scouts here to support these young men today? It was quite impressive how many of you came back again today for this. American fighting men in World War II carry a variety of knives, many of which were handmade with blades fashioned from old metal files or springs. Handles were often natural materials such as wood, antler, or bone. The military also required that the highly polished finish on the blade and other exposed steel parts be toned down with a non-reflective matte black or gray phosphate finish. In 1941, K-Bar responded to the Marine Corps' need for a standard issue fighting utility knife, and following the adoption of the primary design, other cutlery manufacturers, including Camillus, Case, Queen, Robeson, and Pal, were licensed to produce more than 1 million of the knives. The Marine Corps purchased a number of different knives from varied design from multiple manufacturers, but by far the most popular and best known was the K-Bar. The leather sheath is stamped with the Marine Corps insignia. The United States Marine Corps adopted this combat knife in late 1942. Designated as a combat knife, it served as a fundamental tool for soldiers during World War II, useful for driving nails, opening crates, and digging holes. Initially, Army soldiers and Marines were issued World War I-era U.S. Mark I trench knives, but soldiers complained that the Mark I was difficult to secure due to the knife's large finger guards along the handle, its limited range in grip position, and the blades that were prone to breaking. The K-Bar was adopted as a multi-purpose tool, able to function as a weapon and a utility knife. The removal of the brass finger guards also helped conserve metal resources during the war. Eventually, other branches of the military also adopted the K-Bar as standard issue, and the blade stamp was changed to reflect the appropriate branch of service. The origin of the name K-Bar is unknown, although some believe it relates to a boast from an early user that the knife could kill a bar. Others adhere to more military interpretation, maintaining that the name stands for Knife-Attached Browning Automatic Rifle. As a gift from your parents, the DuPage County Marines Detachment 399 take great pleasure in presenting to you a token to mark your elevation to the rank of Eagle Scout, this USMC K-Bar. Please be careful with it, they're very sharp. Scouts have actually used this when they're done. They have a cake cutting ceremony, and unfortunately blood was drawn, so I haven't been to one since then where they used the K-Bar to cut, but this is from your parents, so congratulations on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. So that's for you. And I'm not going to open this one.
Thank you. A scout is reverent, as we know. Henry Allred, will you please come forward to the lectern to lead us in the benediction to remind us of our duty to God?
Let us pray. Lord, make us trustworthy in a world where words are cheap and promises broken. Loyal in a world where true commitment is hardly known. Helpful in a world where too many people think of only themselves. Friendly in a world where children are taught to be afraid of their fellow human beings. Courteous in a world where roughness and rowdiness are made out to be manly virtues. Kind and gentle in a world where so many people are hurt. Obedient in a world where authority is a dirty word. Cheerful in a world where clean fun is laughed at. Thrifty in a world where there is a constant push for selfish and senseless convictions. Brave in a world where many people do not dare to stand for their convictions. Clean in a world where wholesomeness is regarded as square and chastity is outmoded, and reverent in a world where nothing seems to be sacred anymore. Amen.
So in closing, is there any further business to come before this National Court of Honor? Hearing none, I now declare this Court of Honor closed and adjourned. Following the retiring of colors, please congratulate Corey, Patrick, and their families with their accomplishments. I'd also like to thank the team members who helped prepare and organizing this Eagle Court of Honor. Thank you to Mrs. Genuardi for securing the wonderful location and preparing the framed certificates and merit badges, and Mrs. Olson for preparing the letter books that the troop presented to the scouts. Also a big thank you to Mrs. Allred and Mrs. Hine for all the refreshments that we're going to enjoy afterwards. Adults and guests are free to leave, but the scouts will stay to help clean up. We will leave the flags in the front of the room for photos. Color guard, please retire the colors.
All rise. All attention, color guard attention, color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Please prepare to retrieve the colors. Color guard retrieve the colors. All salute. Color guard return to ranks. About face. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard at ease, all at ease, color guard dismiss.